Hi, this is Mark Rabin. Welcome to the KaiNexus Continuous Improvement Podcast. Today, I'm reading a blog post titled Kaizen Event Planning in 7 Simple Steps, written by Jeff Roussel, one of our KaiNexians and our senior leaders, a chief revenue officer at KaiNexus. Here's his post. Here at KaiNexus, we get the opportunity to chat with organizations across all industries and write about many different continuous improvement tools and techniques that they use. Lately, I've been thinking about 2 things that most have in common. First, the tools they use are generally simple, but not easy. And second, the key to success lies in the planning phase. Both of these observations apply to Kaizen events. The concept is straightforward. A team sets aside other responsibilities for a few days to focus on solving an important challenge in short order. That's pretty simple. But getting results requires a significant amount of planning and preparation. Fortunately, there is a well-defined path to success. Here are the 7 simple steps to follow before you kick off your next event. Appoint a skilled facilitator. Strong leadership is essential to a successful Kaizen event. You might hire a professional facilitator from outside the company or choose an employee who has been trained to fill that responsibility. Either way, the facilitator should be someone who is well-versed in Kaizen and who has the knowledge and skills to implement the improvement techniques, such as PDSA or DMAIC, that will be used during the event. They should be a person who can help keep the team stay on track. They should understand how to make sure that everyone on the team has a voice and knows how to manage conflict. Learn more about the leadership behaviors that support Kaizen by watching a webinar that's embedded in the blog post. Look in the show notes for a link to that. That webinar is titled Leadership Behaviors That Create an Improvement Culture. Back to our list. Make sure that leadership is engaged. Executive leaders aren't always directly involved in the Kaizen event, but they should be enthusiastic supporters who understand the process and objectives. Ideally, they'll communicate their support to everyone in the organization and underscore the importance of this type of work. Executive support is important because it makes it more likely that employees will fully engage. It also helps ensure that the results of improvement will be long-lasting. Finally, leaders are often involved in removing roadblocks and providing necessary resources for the event. Set the scope and limits of the event. One danger in Kaizen event planning is the temptation to try to boil the ocean. But Kaizen events are designed to be very specific and targeted. They're not the ideal approach for structural changes that span many functional areas. That's why it's a good idea to have a clear definition of the target process and function before the event begins. You should clearly state which teams and departments will be involved and which problems you're trying to solve. Assemble the team. Kaizen event team members usually include those who are directly responsible for the process to be improved and other stakeholders, such as internal customers of the process. You might also want to add subject matter experts if appropriate, or potentially even external customers or vendors. Kaizen events should also be recognized as a training opportunity, so you might want to include people who have not yet had the chance to practice this improvement technique, even if they're not directly involved in the process that's being improved. Define success. Improvement is relative, so in order to know if your Kaizen event has been effective, you must set some benchmarks for improvement. That means taking some objective measurements of existing results and deciding how much better you expect them to be after the event. These key performance indicators might include metrics around quality, cost, resource utilization, customer satisfaction, space utilization, staff efficiency, or other results important to your business. Provide training. If your team has had lots of practice with Kaizen events, pre-event training might not be necessary. Otherwise, it's essential to take the time to provide guidance on what to expect during a Kaizen event and which improvement tools will be used. The team should be trained on your improvement management technology and how it'll be used before, during, and after the event to support the effort and capture the knowledge generated. Everyone should be clear about their role and know how their performance will be measured. Outline the event schedule. Flexibility is important during a Kaizen event, but going in, you should have a general roadmap of what's expected to occur. Your exact needs may vary, but generally we see a plan that looks like this. Day 1, map and measure the current process and decide on the desired results. Day 2, Consider root causes and possible solutions. Achieve consensus on improvements to be implemented. Document resources needed to apply improvements. Day 3, implement improvements. Day 4, measure results and apply any necessary adjustments. Document the new standard work. And day 5, complete training on new standard work. Communicate the changes to the organization. Recognize and reward team members who contributed to the success. As you can see, much of the effort of a successful Kaizen event is front-loaded. But careful planning is needed if you want to achieve significant results that last. If you follow each of these 7 steps, you'll put yourself and the team in the best position to tackle even the trickiest of challenges. So again, to recap, those 7 steps are: appoint a skilled facilitator, make sure that leadership is engaged, set the scope and limits of the event, assemble the team, define success, provide training, outline the event schedule. So again, if you'd like to read this blog post, there's a couple of webinars that are free. They're embedded as links in the post. Look for a link in the show notes, and I hope you'll subscribe or follow the podcast. We will see you, or you'll hear from us, Kai, next time.